Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today, friends, we are going to be working on another Project Life spread for week 15 of 2025. So this week you might notice that my video is a little bit longer. So I've had a few requests here and there to extend my Project Life videos if possible, and also to show the process of me choosing my cards. So I thought that I would try that today. So this is basically how I start Project Life, even though this one is going to be pretty easy with choosing the cards because I am using the new April kit for LE Studio. So all of the cards are going to come from that one place. So it just makes it a lot easier to choose the cards because they all already coordinate and all the things are done there for you. So I am going to link the April kit from LE Studio below and some of the goodies that I'm using throughout this video. But this is essentially what I would do every week. I would print off all of my photos. So I did do that off camera, of course. So at that point, I just look on my camera roll, decide which photos I'm going to be using for the week. I usually have some sort of idea because my brain's always kind of thinking about Project Life throughout the week. So I might have saved a few things off of the internet, screenshots, all that kind of stuff. And this is kind of one of those weeks with screenshots and different things like that. So we'll get into that as I'm chatting. So I'll print those off, decide what size I want all the pictures to be, typically 3x4 or 4x6, but some of the screenshots and things I might make a little bit smaller sometimes. And then I will pick out my cards. So I like to have a mix of journaling cards and also filler cards, all of that kind of thing. And then you'll see this is what I do every week. Most of the time off camera, I just take sheets of regular thin computer paper and I adhere my 3x4 cards together to create a 4x6 unit to put into the 4x6 pocket, because I personally prefer whatever pockets these are from scrapbook.com where each pocket is a 4x6. I just like that more. I like the way that it looks more when the 3x4s are kind of connected like this. And I also like having the option to put 4x6s in any of them because I feel like you can easily put the 3x4s in any of these pockets. I hope that makes sense. But just to make sure that everything sticks together well, I do add that computer paper. So I usually do that before I turn the camera on. So at this point, I know which cards I'm using and my pictures and everything. So I start just to adhere a few things down. So I wanted to use some of the cards from LE Studio that maybe I could manipulate and put my photos on. So for instance, the one I'm now covering it, but I was able to just trim down my photo so I could use that morning routine, the yellow card. I could use that on the top and bottom. And then what I'm doing here is I'm using another piece of just computer paper, and since it's kind of thin, I was able to use it almost as a template, and I just traced that shape that was on that 4x6 card at the bottom. So I traced the shape, then I'm going to use a piece of washi tape to hold my photo in place, and I'm just going to roughly cut out my photo in the shape of the shape that's on the card. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry, my brain not working so well. So you'll see what I'm talking about. So here I just kind of use that as a template, and now my photo kind of has that arch of that shape that's on the card. It is absolutely not even close to being perfect. My stuff is always wonky, and that's really okay with me, but you could definitely do it in some other special technical way to make sure that it's the perfect size. But for me, as long as my photo had a little arch in it and it kind of fit in there, I thought that it would look nice because that picture of Penny had a lot of sky and floor in it with the bed. So I just thought, okay, that would work. I could easily cut a lot off and make it fit into that spot there. So I was trying to make my cards work for me is basically what I'm saying. So the same thing with that other one with the yellow, I just was able to trim down this picture of mine and my mom's drinks from this week and then pop it in there so I could use that card as well. So at this point, this is kind of where I'm always at, where all of my photos and all of my cards are in place and everything's basically adhered down. So then I just start to try to figure out embellishments and what is it that I'm going to use. So this is what was throwing me for a loop because the 4x6 cards that were included in this month's kit, although very cute. One of them is that one with the arch at the bottom, which I loved. The other one is such a cute idea. It has three spots, and it says like things you've collected from the week or something. It's so cute. And I totally want to use that at some point. Like whenever I leave the house and I have little like pieces of real life ephemera, I think it'll be really cute. And I'm sorry, I don't think that I actually showed it in this video. But this one was throwing me for a loop because I didn't have a really great card to be my title card. And I knew that I wanted to use these alphas that LA Studio just offered this month, and they're white. So I really wanted some sort of background that could like handle having white stickers on it, like where they would pop out. So I could have just cut down that piece of paper. That's also just a piece of LA Studio pattern paper in like that kind of teal color. I could have just cut that out to be my 3x4 card, but instead I went with the arch idea that we just did on that photo, and I just cut out free-handed a little arch, and then I'm going to add on my week 15 stickers here, so we'll get those into place, and then I'm going to start adding on some embellishments and get my dates there and all that kind of stuff. So while I'm starting to do that part, I will tell you a little bit about the week and about my photos and all that kind of good stuff, and then we will continue how the rest of the spread goes. So for this week, I had a very good week, a very like home-centered week, but I didn't have tons and tons of photos, and honestly, a lot of them have to do with the doggies. So I had taken a couple pictures here and there. I have a picture of Poppy laying in our bed at the bottom, that picture of Penny that we cut into the arch. So I had those like earlier in the week, and then it wasn't until the weekend that me and Will took the dogs on a couple walks, and I thought I'm going to try to get some cute pictures of them because they always look so cute on a walk in their little harnesses, and they're always so excited. So I was able to get a couple pictures here of them that I put at the top. So I just ended up putting both of those pictures together. So they're two 3x4s, but they're kind of in one 4x6 little clump there. Then besides that, I did take a picture of mine and my mom's drinks from our Starbucks trip. We typically go on Fridays together. So I do have a picture of that, and it had our names on the top. So I thought that that was cute. And then we pressure washed some of our house, like our porch area. Really Will pressure washed it, and I watched him. But so I took a picture of him pressure washing because I definitely had to document that moment. And then besides that, my other photos are mostly screenshots. So that's another great thing that you can do if you have kind of a slower week. And that's how I felt like I did. I mean, we did a lot and I had a really great week, but I didn't have tons and tons of photos to document this week. So I thought that doing screenshots would really help out. So right now I'm rounding the corners on this little screenshot, and that's just something that I found on Instagram that just talks about kind of romanticizing your life, that same idea that I love. And so anytime I find little quotes or things that kind of make me feel happy, upbeat, or make me feel like they really represent this time of my life, or of course it could be a sadder time, but for me right now, it's kind of like that fun springtime, embracing the season type feel. So I wanted to add that quote in. And then I also went online to Google, and I just snagged the Superbad movie cover because me and Will watched Superbad this weekend. And now that card that says movie time, that is from LA Studio, but that's the only card that was not included with the LA Studio kit from this month. But I did get those from LA Studio previously. So those really come in handy. I love having those just around for whenever we do watch movies, and I can pop that in. You can rate it. You can add little notes about it, add the date, all that kind of stuff, which is really fun. So the other thing that I had screenshots of, I actually screenshotted, you'll see them eventually, but I screenshotted them like weeks ago, but I just haven't been able to fit them into my spread. And so that's something that I do as well. Like sometimes I'll screenshot things, I'll put them on my phone or onto my computer. And I might not be able to use them right away, but I kind of have them in my back pocket there for a time when I have a slower week, and then I have a little bit of extra things that I might want to put into place. So if you can kind of see these, I'd love to know if anyone else has nostalgia for this moon and star print that was popular in the 90s. I don't know how popular it was. At the time, I did not know that it was popular, but my entire home basically was done in this moon and star theme. So my mom, she's hippy dippy, and she's always loved moon and stars. And so my entire living room growing up was like done in this moon and star theme. And that exact pattern, like one of those like little posts. They were like on a nostalgic Instagram account that I came across. And there's pillows and there's like prints that were on the wall, hung on the wall. And we had those exact things in my home. And we also had like throws and we had all kinds of stuff. But it's so funny because I've seen actually a YouTube video on it, and I've also seen some other posts about it and how it was like popular then, and kind of just talking about that kind of witchy vibe that was going on then in the 90s. And I just didn't know it was that popular at the time because I was a kid and nobody else's houses looked like that. So I just thought that that was so funny when I started to see like this, like these nostalgic posts pop up, and I had to screenshot them and put them in my project life because it is such an intense nostalgia for me personally and my personal story. So the thing was that they were a little dark and they were a little like intense photos. So I hid them behind a photo flip. So those are the Snap photo flips. I'll link them below if anyone wants to grab them, but all you have to do on Amazon is just type in Snap photo flips and they should come right up. And they really come in handy in project life and other projects. I know y'all have seen me use them all the time, but I love them if you have extra photos, extra journaling, or like this time it's very strategic because I didn't want those photos to be front and center on my spread, but I did want to be able to document them and have them like up as a part of the spread. So I love that it can just say nostalgic and it's like a cute little filler card on the top, but then you can flip it up and then you can see what it is that I was talking about, which I really like the way that that looked. So as far as embellishments, you'll see that I did grab out some of, they're my favorite. They are the label stickers that already have little phrases in them, little typed phrases. They're like typewriter font. I absolutely love them from LA Studio. So I grabbed out 3 of those and put those on a few different cards. Also, there was a puppy sticker sheet this month that was all about like rain, April showers bring May flowers kind of vibes. So I took some of the little raindrops and popped those into place. And then I did add on a couple of the like die cut pieces from the kit. The one that says, "This is my happy place," that's like a little teal circle. Then also at the top, there was one that said photo op. And at the bottom, there was a little pink, like they're almost like speech bubbles that said this. So I added that onto the nostalgic card. So now I have most things into place. I really didn't need to add that much journaling. There wasn't tons of stories to tell from this week, but you'll notice that I added a little bit of information onto that movie time card about Superbad. Then I had this other like label card here that was kind of connected to my title card. So I knew, of course, I wanted to put something on there, but I didn't want to add a ton of journaling because honestly, this card and the movie card are like diagonal from each other. And I try to space out my journaling throughout my spread to where it like flows nicely. So I didn't want all my journaling to be clogged into this like top left corner. So what I decided to do was I had to put something on these labels. I wasn't going to leave them blank, So I took out those really old little wooden stamps that super come in handy during Project Life because they're so small. And I spelt out 3 of the main things that we did a lot this weekend, which was taxes, porch, and walks. So we finished our taxes, which felt amazing. Me and Will did that on Sunday, right at the finish line. And so that felt great to get that done. Also the porch, like I mentioned, we pressure washed, and also we had gotten some plants and a little rug and like some cute little things for the porch. So we like cleaned it up a little bit, did a very small porch refresh, which I hope to continue. But we did that, and then we did take the dogs on several walks. So I wanted to include that as well. So I'm just adding in a little bit more information. I'm trying to write really small, just as little subtitles here underneath the bigger stamp titles. And that is, I believe, the last thing that I'm going to be doing in this video. So let me know below in the comments if you enjoyed the little bit of the longer video. If you do, I can definitely start to leave a little bit more into my videos from now on. So I hope that you enjoyed this process. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I will be back at you super soon with more videos. So have a great day, friends, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, y'all.